What limits Windows 7 x64 machines to lower or equal than 192 GB RAM? I know motherboards, BIOS, etc. may set upper limits on how much RAM we can install or use on individual machines. However, what defines the maximum RAM for Windows 7 x64? Is that a fundamental architectural limitation of the OS? Different Windows 7 versions have different RAM maximums. Starter Edition is lower than or equal to 2 GB, Professional is lower than or equal to 192 GB. Is it something that may be actually changed? As a comparison, Ubuntu 64X allows for as much as 1024 GB RAM.
Short answer, the license. Excluding hardware from the equation, it is mostly an artificial software restriction. The limit is retrieved from the registry by calling a function named queryLicenseValue, which is itself called from an internal procedure which Microsoft's published symbol files name as mxmemory license. Source: licensed memory in 32-bit Windows Vista. Additional information. Of course, license data stored in the registry even in an undocumented format might easily be changed by users, which they would have some incentive to try since Microsoft charges significantly different prices for different licenses. Microsoft therefore has an elaborate scheme for checking that the license data remains as Microsoft wants it. The kernel is the repository for whether the licensing data has been tampered with, and to this end exports two more functions: execlicense_state and execlicense_state. Source: software licensing. execlicense_state. This undocumented function asks the kernel whether the license data has been tampered with. The internal use is in a timer that recurs approximately every hour. If the tamper state is found to be 4, then Windows stops. The bug check code is system_license_violation, 0x9a, with 0x1b as the first argument. Source: execlicense_state. A practical example. Let's say you have a computer with 32 GB of RAM, and you install Windows 7 Home Premium x64, 64-bit. In that case you would be limited to 16 GB. If you were to use Windows Anytime Upgrade, and upgrade to a more expensive edition, suddenly the limit would be set to 192 GB instead. Conclusion: all Windows 7 editions share the same source code. The main difference is the number of features/limitations which are either enabled or disabled. Professional and higher client editions have no upper limit to how much RAM they can handle, and are just licensed to what Microsoft guarantees to support. Additionally, the Windows 7 EULA explicitly says that you may not use the software for commercial software hosting services, hinting Microsoft assumed that if you need more RAM than what the highest client edition is licensed to, then what you really want is a server license. Windows 7 Server counterpart, that is, Windows Server 2008 R2, can use up to 2 TB of RAM in the Enterprise and Data Center editions. As technology moves fast, what was acceptable yesterday might not be enough tomorrow. In order to catch up, Windows 8 raised the limits to 128 GB and 512 GB for the Core and Pro/Enterprise editions, respectively. That only applies to 64-bit versions, though 32-bit versions are still capped at 4 GB. The server version, Windows Server 2012, can address up to 4 TB of RAM in the higher editions. Further reading. Licensed memory in 32-bit Windows Vista. Pushing the limits of Windows, physical memory. Memory limits for Windows releases. Physical address extension. Binary prefix. Windows 7 editions, comparison chart. Windows 7 Professional EULA. Windows Anytime Upgrade.
Microsoft licenses it that way. They likely want you to go and pay for a Windows Server product that is licensed to run with greater resources. It's the same with other products like SQL Server. SQL Server Express has limitations placed on it so that if you need more resources, you must buy the product that permits it.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.